Thank you, Jenny. So I'm Angus Choi from KPMG, and my fellow, Yoshii from AECOM. So today we are here to share with you a few minutes or so about this paper, Green Technology Landscape in Hong Kong, Opportunity for Finance. So when we talk about transition, it goes without saying that we need technology to accelerate the transition. And this morning, we also heard from our financial secretary about the commitment for Hong Kong to become a global hub for green technology development. We need to capture this growth through our financial services, our private equity, and also the venture capital, and also our capital market. But where are these technologies? And even when we know about these terms, a lot of terms about technologies, where are these technologies applied to? Which sectors? And more importantly, as bankers and also investors, we want to know exactly what is the opportunities for us in these areas. So that's why in about a year ago, our working group members all came together to co-create this paper. We want to identify opportunities and also to identify the green technology landscape in Hong Kong. So when we do this, we conduct So what we want when we do this, actually, we try to identify and conduct surveys and interviews. Yeah, we want to provide you a sector-based, a very broad spectrum of the green technology landscape in the context of Hong Kong and GBA. So what we have done is we sent survey to 73 experts and conduct 13 interviews in the market. We collect their opinions, and then we come up with this report. So this is what the landscape looks like. As you can see here, we have 6 sectors. The 4 sectors are the energy, environment and waste, building and construction, and the transportation sector. We selected these 4 sectors because we know that from the Hong Kong Climate Action 2050, these 4 sectors are the major carbon emission contributor in Hong Kong. And then when we do this exercise, we also have a conversation with the GDI, the Green Development Institute. They are actually also doing a similar exercise in the GBA context. And when they do that, and Hong Kong, given that Hong Kong as a super collector between the mainland and also the rest of the world, we think the manufacturing and material sector is also very important. And finally, Hong Kong has already developed a very mature fintech market sectors in Hong Kong over the past decade. So that's why we also add the fintech sector here. So as you can see, we try to be a little bit more exhaustive, but you will also know that it cannot be truly exhaustive because this spaces keep evolving. But yet it's already quite a comprehensive landscape. I just want to highlight one more point here is we do not want to create a taxonomy here. Yeah, we create these categories simply because we want to facilitate the survey to get these opinions from the expert, and also for the ease of presentation as well. So let me pass it to my colleague Chris to talk about an example.
Yeah, at the heart of the study is we did a lot of research, and the main 3 questions we were asking are market opportunity, technical maturity, and the financing needs of these sectors. We did for the 6 sectors and then the 34 subsectors. So we got data and information about market opportunity and technical maturity. This we're showing here is the building and construction sector. And across the board, I think in most sectors, we found that there's pretty good market opportunity. But where there was a lot of difference was actually in the technical maturity. And so, for example, in the building construction, it's one of the oldest industries in the world. But what we found is for example, sustainable construction materials is actually a very initial industry where there's a lot of innovation going on. And actually the technology is not very mature. And so even within building and construction, there's a lot of difference between the subsectors of what is maturity and what's not. And that industry maturity, technical maturity, leads to different types of financing that was needed. So new companies need more seed capital or venture capital, blended finance, whereas mature companies really need deployment capital. They need large-scale green finance for deployment capital. And that deployment is not just in Hong Kong or GBA. That deployment would be throughout the Asia region and sometimes throughout the world. The other issue we asked questions about were what was the most important considerations to them when they're thinking about financing and investment in these different sectors. And what was really interesting was it varied a lot by different subsectors. So some were more, the investors needed strong balance sheet. They're looking for companies with strong balance sheets. But others, it was more about where the companies had a technical advantage. And that was the most important consideration. So when you see the report, you'll see that there's actually a lot of variability between the different sectors and subsectors. So all of this really led up to kind of 5 big recommendations in the report. So we developed 5 recommendations, and these are recommendations primarily to government for the development of the green technology. So the first was really around funded programs for public-private co-investment. So this was the idea that the government can go along with private sector, develop some programs where they can really help green technology reach scale and commercialization at scale. The panel just talked about that, of how do you get to scale quickly. And so can the government help in co-investing through PPPs or blended finance or concessional funding? So that was the first recommendation. The second recommendation was about enhancing government green procurement. So the government of Hong Kong is actually one of the largest purchasers of concrete or steel or glass, but also a lot of other goods and services. So by the government prioritizing low carbon products and services or prioritizing green technology services, that would help create market demand very quickly. And that will also send a signal to manufacturers, suppliers, that they need to get on board. They need to provide, if they're going to sell to the government, to any of the government agencies, they need to have low carbon products for them. So that's one way of stimulating the green technology sector. The third area we looked at was financing schemes for SMEs. SMEs for their transition. You know, there's a lot of talk about big corporates and corporations, but really a large share of the economy of Hong Kong and any economy is really SMEs. And they have difficulty securing money to upgrade their businesses and transition their businesses. And banks have a hard time lending to SMEs because they're small, and the funding amounts are not that big. So we do need programs to help fill that gap, and maybe it is providing some subsidy for SMEs so they can, the cost of loans issuance can be lower, or some of the compliance of external review of their loans could be reduced through some sort of subsidy program. So this, what we think, would really help SMEs to adopt climate change. The fourth is really about establishing an interdepartmental working group. So as you can see from all these different sectors and subsectors, they really touch transportation or energy, or they're touching the environment, and all these different departments in all these different ways. And so you really need an interdepartmental working group that can work together to coordinate policy, that can also then come up with a work plan, all of government work plan of how to promote green technology in Hong Kong. What are the KPIs? What are the implementation mechanisms for this? And the last but not least is this is Angus's heart here is about data and knowledge platform. So the idea is there's a real knowledge gap, there's a real data gap in green technology in Hong Kong in a lot of areas. When we started this research, we realized, wow, we don't really know so much. It's hard to really find information. So the idea was to create a platform where companies, startups can kind of put their solutions in or share their information, where banks and governments can talk about the programs that are available. And companies can find investors, investors can find companies through this platform. Can foster transparency, engagement, cooperation, and we can help to solve this data gap that currently exists in the green technologies landscape. So all this was not just Angus and I are doing. So it was really a whole group of people, a lot of different people participated in writing case studies or writing sections of the report or reviewing. So we're very honored to have such a large group of people help on this report. This report will be coming out the end of this month or early November. It's been a long gestation period, but I think we're both going to be very happy when the baby's born. So we're looking forward to it. And then I think once the report's out, we'll be happy to have more engagements and discussions about the report.
Yeah, it's truly the voice for the market. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.